Welcome to Comics League Dark. I'm Jared. I'm here with the boys. I got Teladia Plays. What's up, brother?
Lois Lane is Lois Lane.
Yes, thank you. And what's up, Nick from the Phoenix Press?
I don't know. What is up? What is down? I really have no clue.
Oh my god. This thing is so old.
He's lost in the Chrono Ball because
Yes, he's lost in the Chrono Ball. So
I was trying to be philosophical, you wickweed.
So today we are discussing. We have a wide variety of topics today. But what do you guys say we start off with a little positivity and talk about how awesome XMen 97 was this week? Because good Lord.
Wow. Mommy's talking.
Yes, exactly. Thank you,
Also,
Randy.
Yep, Randy knows what's up.
Wait, hang on. Do I have it? Do I have it on here? I have a proper clip for Randy. Where is it? I should have this one. Actually, here. This works too.
Batman doesn't do ships.
All right. So we finally got to. Obviously, we all knew Madeline Pryor was showing up when we saw the cliffhanger at the end of episode 2. But did they deliver?
They delivered.
They delivered on a promise that, well, not a promise, but they delivered on something which I never thought. Yeah,
see,
like
there is. Sorry,
Sorry.
Teladia.
No,
Finish
you're
what you're
talking
say, then
first.
I'll go. Yeah, he goes.
I wasn't expecting to see the origin of Cable in this episode, and I wasn't even expecting to see Queen Goblin in this, and I'm just like,
one legit criticism. The one legit criticism that I feel like that people have alleged that I kind of feel is valid is that like they're kind of speed running through a lot of iconic storylines. Like I expected the storyline to last the entire season, not one episode. That
it may though. Who says we're done?
The way they presented it, it feels. Oh no, that fuck.
Yeah, I can see that. And Tevia, we will be discussing Marvel's Overwatch later on the show.
But the way they presented it, it very much feels like it was kind of a one and done. Like the way they presented it. Like Mating Pryor might still show up, but beyond that, I don't know.
And I gotta be honest, Nick, and you and I were talking about this earlier when we were hanging out pre-stream. So anyone that's complaining about this desexifying the X-Men characters clearly wasn't paying attention to Madeline's outfit.
Yeah, like obviously, like okay, it was like obviously they could have gone a little bit farther with the sex stuff, but the thing is, it's not just. If they were gonna desex the show, they would not have had Savage Land Rogue.
Yeah, they literally had and that's the other thing about the show that I love so much is all the Easter eggs in there, like the wedding photo being the cover of the issue where Cyclops and Jean Grey got married.
Yeah, that was a nice touch.
It's all these really small details that really add up. Luckily, the difference between this and storylines that use Easter eggs for nostalgia armor is that this actually had good writing. The way nostalgia armor works is that they use it to disguise bad writing. So
yeah, the way that I kind of like described like the member Barry's form of storytelling is like in lieu of good writing, they're like, hey, look, like you're jingling keys in front of a toddler, like, hey, you remember this, like the Flash, like, hey, you remember Batman 89? No, with this one, it was like they're already telling a good story, and they threw that in as kind of a tribute, it's a bonus. Nostalgia should be a bonus. It should not be the main course. In other words, you can't. How can you have your pudding if you don't eat your meat?
Exactly. And Tammy brings up a good point. This show proves that haters wrong. The show is doing X-Men right. Here's the thing. It's kind of ironic that the X-Men spend so much time being like relegated because granted it was because that Marvel did not want to share the profits with Fox, but and they tried to replace it with the Inhumans, which worked about as well as Joss Whedon's Justice League. But It's very like comforting to see my favorite Marvel team finally getting the respect they deserve because I'm now excited for something Marvel. Isn't that a weird feeling now?
Yeah, like
Yeah. Go on, you go first.
no, Teladia, you go first.
It's great to see that the X-Men is getting the respect they deserve, and it's great to see that they are taking elements from the comics and implementing them into the cartoon animation. And this is what live action should be.
Yes.
Take
I- I- If they're because we all know, because it would be really interesting if now that they have the rights to X-Men, they just decide we're just gonna do X-Men's gonna be the prime team in the new after Secret Wars. That's it. We're done with the Avengers. They'll still be there, but they'll be in the background. The X-Men are gonna be our team.
I
And if
mean,
they
we
do it
need to
this
have
way,
an event. We need to have an Avengers versus X-Men at some point.
yes, we do. Very much so, because that storyline is freaking dope. I covered it on my old X-Men review show that I did. But the other thing about this show is again, this was the third episode, and they didn't really beat you over the head with any politics. Right? I thought that was just classic X-Men storylines. And I mention that every week. It does it purely because we've spent like 5 years with like politics being beaten over the head. So I like that.
Yeah, for sure.
Dave, you are really pushing me, my friend. You are really pushing me, my friend, to replace them with the Inhumans, which failed badly. It failed so badly that you know what's actually a Marvel event? Death of the Inhumans, where they like completely replace them. But so let me ask you guys that. By the way, so Nick posted this hilarious short. Nick, do you mind if I play it on here?
Yeah, you might get a copyright thing, but it's up to
I
you.
don't mind. It's
All right.
short, so I don't think it'll be that much of an issue.
Well,
I'll
I
take the
did
hit,
warn
let's
you,
put it that
so
way.
I did warn you, so you have no right to get mad at me. So,
Mhm.
all right, do it.
All right, you know what? Instead, I'll just say this.
No,
So
no. Please play it.
I already X'd out. But so
Oh,
basically, he took the Madeline Pryor transformation and
Just
put the
don't even
Sailor
bother.
Moon theme.
Don't even bother. Don't even bother.
I already said it. He put it to the Sailor Moon theme, which was really funny. Okay, I guess he needed to go, but okay. To replace him with the Inhumans failed so badly, yeah. And so Teladia, in terms of
Yes.
like, what was your favorite part of the episode?
Oh, the Jean Grey with the Madeline character, right? Like the dynamic between them, that was really, really cool to see. Like Jean Grey go into her mind, get to see her past, get to see Professor Xavier. That was really cool. And then and that you got to see like she went old school, like she had the ponytail and everything, and I was just like, yes, this is 90s, so 90s.
By the way, can I say this is something I wanted to say since episode 1 when we first saw the intro. So
Yeah.
she's in the intro, they recreate all the poses and moves from the original intro. And Jean Grey's in her classic suit. I like her with the long hair with the head sock more than that one. But hey, what's up, Britt? Don't want to jump to conclusions, but 3 episodes in, the female characters stand out. Shame no confidence with DC doing this. Well, yeah, because DC doesn't give the fans what they want. And Marvel was trying to use Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. to turn Inhumans into their cinematic X-Men stand-ins, doomed to failure. Yeah, you would think that because here's the thing. Here's why that didn't work. There was no 90s Inhuman show that was like iconic. You can't, because everyone knew they were trying to replace the mutants with the Inhumans, and it didn't work at all.
Yeah. So I'll say this, right? I think X-Men 97, there's no doubt, a shadow of a doubt, this will be Invincibles in terms of rating. Because if you remember,
yes. Wait. So hang on, Teladia. We're still 3 episodes in. Yeah, they could take it right off the cliff.
what I mean is in viewership, in numbers.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. because
did so well, and I wish Nick were here so I could tell him this, but they did so well that they're considering bringing back the 90s Spider-Man cartoon.
that gets me so hyped. I'm not
Mhm.
lying to you. That gets me so interested and invested because if they do bring that back, oh my god, this guy right here is gonna have a smile on his face, and he will be so much invested in Spider-Man 97 that I will even we might even do a live reaction.
Yep, pretty much. Tabby says, especially because the past decade Marvel animation was freaking garbage because Avengers Earth Minus Heroes was great. Every other Marvel show was a failure. Well, that's also because, remember, DC was the Marvel, DC was the animation guru back then. Marvel was just throwing him out because people would say, why is DC getting this and we're not? But Marvel was never really the animated prodigy, if you will. That was always DC. But again, I am really digging this, and I'm hoping that they can keep it up, which they can. They definitely can. Harley Quinn and Lois Lane, are the only female characters DC cares about. Yeah, which is stupid because Diana exists. She is your third member of the Trinity. That's a fake concept, but still, she's there. But Dave says, I really liked episode 3, but yes, there's still plenty of time for Disney to screw this up. The relationship between Morph and Wolverine is making me nervous. I don't think they're going to make Wolverine bi or anything like that. So I don't think you have to worry about that. I really don't.
So,
yeah. So I am hoping that if Spider-Man 90s does return, this means I get, yeah, exactly. So all in all, how do you rate this episode out of 10?
it's another 9.5 out of 10. The only disappointing thing is that we didn't get to see the other side of Bishop and Cable.
They'll
Nathan.
come back. I'm gonna make a Jared prediction at the end of the show. It's like this final battle. It's going badly against the X-Men. Then Cable will come through the portal and save them.
No. What I mean is them on the other side. So like that, we get to see them enter the future. That would have been cool.
I mean, but the show's not really about the future, though.
I know what you mean, but I mean, it'd be cool to see Cable meeting his younger self. I'm just saying, that would be cool.
Mm-hmm. That's true. I agree with Tavi. I give it probably a 10 out of 10. I enjoyed it very much. And the animation was good. This was a heavy thing. The other thing I loved was when the Madeline Pryor versus Magneto fight, where she's throwing glass at him and it's like shredding him and he's throwing barbed things. Yeah. Also, the horror scenes at the mansion were really, really cool.
Now that did freak me out a little bit. It did freak me out a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I'll take it. I think it's really fun. So, next topic, shall we? So, you want to talk about the Batman lawsuit, Marvel's Overwatch? What do you want to talk about?
Let's talk about Marvel's Overwatch because I think that's a great
right.
place to start. I'm a gamer, so the Lord of Gaming has spoken.
Yes. All right. So Marvel released a trailer for Marvel's Rivals, and we were getting indicator that they were going to do a new game. They were going to announce it. So I was like, okay, wait a second. You literally rip off Overwatch. Yeah, he had to go for personal reasons, but so you literally rip off Overwatch, because here's the thing: the art style is the exact same, the tone is the exact same, even the freaking soundtrack is similar. So I'm like, I'm not really just. I was like, what the heck, dude?
Here's the thing, the thing for me, Marvel's Rivals, definitely, I'm looking to pick that up because I definitely like the anime, the art style, and I definitely think that this will be on a competitive level for competitive players. And I do think that this is what DC should be doing something like this, where it's competitive, where it's a 6v6, where people can enjoy it and people can say, look, they can play their favorite characters, like from whether they can play Superman, they can play Batman, whatever, right? But Marvel are doing it, and Marvel are doing it in such a good way that they're doing Spider-Man, you've got Iron Man, Incredible Hulk, you've got Namor, you've got Storm, you've got Star-Lord, you got there's a vast majority of characters that are coming, and literally, I played Overwatch and I played Paladins, which is similar to Overwatch, and it's literally like that. And I'm just like, you know what? If this when this comes to console, I'm picking up and I'm definitely going to be streaming that
Well,
because
it's free to play, so it's not like we're going to be waiting. Now, if it's crossplay, obviously we'll play a couple of
yeah,
matches and like screw around. The but the thing about it is that are hero shooters really still in? I mean,
yeah.
it's like Marvel chasing. It is. Oh, okay.
Well, Overwatch is still popular to some degree.
Hmm.
Um, Paladins is still active as well, like I said. And I think what Marvel is doing something different. It's not like Overwatch completely. It's a it's like it's not first person like through the eyes.
Well,
It's like
yeah, but
third
what I
person from
mean is
behind.
like the aesthetics and the idea of it, and the soundtrack is legit. Oh, it's pretty much Overwatch.
But it does look cool though. You gotta
It
admit,
does
like
look
the
interesting. I'm like, what?
you okay?
Yeah, it does look interesting. It's just I'm just wondering why announce this now.
I think they wanted to get ahead of the curve because they know Summer Game Fest is literally around the corner.
Hmm.
Um, and if you think about it, with Summer Game Fest coming around, I know they've got like an open beta in May. So like, and this is on Steam. So if you got a really good PC or if you got a medium PC, you probably work on that. Um, so and you get to play the sorry, not open beta, closed beta. Sorry, the closed beta
Hmm.
you'll get to play. So I honestly think that it's really cool. And this is the first time Galactus's daughter is
Hmm.
actually being portrayed in video game.
No, she
We've
was in the
never
mobile game.
no. What I mean is in the general audience now will know who Galactus's daughter is.
Again, she was in the mobile game.
True, but how many people do play mobile though? That's the question.
Enough that Marvel keeps doing it.
True, I mean,
Because I
um,
got news for you. More and more people are playing games on this. Hell, that's why I always tell people when they're making thumbnails, make sure they're good to make sure you can see them well on the phone, because otherwise it's not going to work.
you are correct.
Mm-hmm.
You're right there. I didn't think it like that because I always thought like console gaming and it's always um, you know, I've always thought console gaming was the face of everything, right? Where everyone just knows it for the console base. But seeming as you told me that it's mobile, everything is going mobile now. It's very interesting
A
for
lot
me.
of it is, well, at least with Marvel, they haven't really made the push into console gaming in a while. Most of it was mobile, where you have like Future Fight and the like. So, and that's where I know Galactus' daughter from, because I think she was in Future Fight. I'm not sure which Marvel mobile
Video
game. I
game.
know she was in one of them. To be honest,
Okay.
I don't like the graphic style where it's too cartoony. I mean, again, it's literally the Overwatch art style, like legit.
But
Which I
you gotta
Yeah,
give
go ahead.
you gotta give them props for at least trying something that is out of their comfort zone, right? Because Marvel have never done something like this before.
Yeah, I'm like, hey, if it works for them, you know what? Have at it, guys. If obviously I'll try it out because I can play as the Punisher.
And
So
I and I can play as either Rocket or I can play as Spider-Man or I can play as Iron Man or the Hulk. I'm a tank player, so
all right, so yeah, I noticed with your King Shark gameplay. So I call Punisher, and If they ever add Cap to the game, I call Cap, but I'll go with Punisher and Iron Man.
I'm going
Those
for
would be
the
mine.
tank character. I'm only going for the tank characters because that's my favorite. I like to be a tank.
Oh, there you go.
Pew, pew, pew.
You could say Teladia is a shark. I had to. So, do you want to transition to a new
Yeah.
topic?
Yes.
All right. So, what do you want to talk about? You want to talk about the Batman lawsuit, DC Comics, DC's finest comics?
Let's talk about the Batman the Batman lawsuit. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So, for those of you that don't know, all right. So, what happened was 2020, I believe, too. I'm pulling up a Reuters article on it. All right.
Yeah.
So, Christopher Wozniak sued Warner Brothers because he was claiming that when Matt Reeves was making the script for the Batman, that he plagiarized the story that Wozniak made. The thing about it that's kind of odd about it is that he claims he made a story for DC and then it was rejected, and then the story comes out, and then even what's kind of funny, the judge's decision when they were outlining how they came to a decision, they're like, all the tropes that you claim were stolen from your story, that's in like all these different movies. So there's no way that. So how do you know that they specifically took your idea? In other words, like the serial killer who uses puzzles. No, he didn't lie to Teladia. I think maybe he was mistaken. I need to see more before I start putting in like, yeah, he lied.
Yeah. You mean Tevye? You mean? Sorry.
Yeah. I need to see more information before I can determine if he lied or not, because lie implies he willfully misled people. I don't have enough information for that. But Teladia,
yeah,
go
go
ahead.
on. So I'm
No, I
gonna
was gonna
say
ask what you
this.
think. Mhm.
What I think is I do think this is gonna go. He's gonna try again. Chris Wozniak is gonna try again. He's gonna try and sue Warner Brothers, and he's gonna go to a different court. Now, I don't know how long this is gonna plan out, but it's a big yikes. Yeah, Wozniak can appeal for it,
He
but
can.
he can. So it's going to be interesting to see how things go ahead going for future, because like this obviously does say a lot. Like,
Well, here's the thing. Matt Reeves did respond, and he basically outlined his process of the story, and I don't think Wozniak was involved with that. I mean, by involved, I mean I don't think he even
it was
said he
part of
looked
the.
at that story.
Oh, you mean part of the process? Yeah.
So I still need more information, but from where I can see, it was shaky ground at best, because it's like you're writing a story. Well, you're taking a general idea for a story, which is a serial killer who uses puzzles and riddles. By your logic, Matt Reeves ripped off like Saw or
So many different.
Jigsaw. So it's not. It's so there's a lot of different films that use that, and that's what the judge said. He's like, it wasn't specifically the bat. There's unless he can produce direct evidence that they use that exact thing, he can't make that claim.
Yeah. So honestly, I just think we just gotta wait and see what happens after. Now, because honestly, it's all in a mess right now. Like, there's like, even though the outcome is like that it wasn't plagiarized. I can't pronounce it, but hopefully I said that right. Um, it wasn't the thing that Chris Wozniak was saying it is, but he can appeal for it. Only time will tell what that future is going to entail for Warner Brothers and for Chris Wozniak. But for the time being, I just think this is just a mess. Honestly, that's my opinion. It is a mess.
Yeah,
Because
it's gonna be very interesting to see where they go with that.
yeah,
because if he appeals, I'm wondering what that's gonna if the judge will look at that, but he's gonna have to look at other evidence. But anyway, so now we can talk about DC finest comics, I guess.
Yeah, sure.
So DC is actually so Teladia and I collect trades. That's typically how we consume our
He
comics.
got
And DC,
he got wait. He got me addicted to buying comics, guys. That's a fact. He got me addicted to buying comics. I've got Action Comics, I've got Old Star Superman, I've got Superman Unchained, I got I got Superman Earth One. All thanks to Jared. He got me addicted to it now. And sooner or later I'll be picking up Batman comics sooner or later. I have to put that out there last.
Mhm.
It's
Yes,
it be-
exactly.
it's become an addiction.
Yeah. Well, I am the comics pusher according to Master Sergeant, but there you go. The Batman was obviously inspired by several other films. It's practically a pastiche. Yeah, exactly. So, in terms of a few of the books that are being released, that's actually pretty cool.
Yeah.
Are let's see. So we have. I'm gonna pull up all the pictures and just share my screen. I'm just doing this real quick. One moment, ladies and gents. Allow me to get this all set up. In the meantime, I just want to remind everyone that Lois Lane is Lois Lane and she sucks.
Make sure you hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, guys. It's very key if you guys start supporting.
Here's what we got. So far we have they're gonna have like the original Superman comics, the Longbow Hunter story, Flash, Catwoman, the 90s Catwoman. And what's cool about this, DC is trying to make it so people can read like these classic stories that either aren't collected in trade or omnibuy or are like really, really, really expensive and out of print. So you know what? I commend them for this because they're making comics more accessible. What do you think, Teladia?
Yeah. It I can see it. It's great to see different comics like Superman, Batman. I'm very surprised to see Catwoman up there. And the Justice well, wait, they're doing two Justice oh yeah, Justice Society and Justice
Justice
League. Okay.
Society and Justice League. I know it's confusing.
It's really confusing. That's confusing, but other than that, it's great to see, Superman, even Supergirl get like finest comics, and I can't wait to pick these up though. Like Superman, Batman, I'll pick up definitely.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Me personally, I'm gonna pick up. I have the Wonder Woman ones, the comics collected in that, so I'm not really gonna do that. I'll probably pick up Catwoman and Green Arrow Longbow Hunters because I've heard very good things about that Green Arrow story. So I'm definitely gonna try that out. And
I've read I've read on like year one, but I've never read year two of
Year
Batman.
2 is one of the ones where he grabbed or Batman uses a gun. So
I've never read that comic, so this is gonna be
that's gonna be
interesting
fun.
this is gonna be interesting for me. Event Zero Hour, can you tell me what that is?
All right, 0 Hour. That was one of DC's Crisis. And what that did, so after Crisis on Infinite Earths, there was one timeline. They got rid of the multiverse. But to
Yeah.
explain like how you still have Elseworld stories, they were like hyper time. So it's like an alternate timeline. It's not an alternate Earth. It's just an alternate timeline. So
Okay.
in that, you had a villain, I believe. You had Parallax Hal Jordan going through time and like screwing up with the timeline. It was the idea was to just clean up the DC timeline a little bit and like polish it up. This is also where they made Hawkman more confusing, so I didn't really go with that. It was a good story. It was weird, but it was a good story. But it's a fun one, so you might want to pick that one up. And it's part 1, so it's probably gonna be a couple of issues.
Okay. I'll wait until they get both parts and whatnot. Obviously, they're gonna be super expensive here in the UK, so I can tell you that.
Mm-hmm.
Probably
And
like we're looking at $50, probably, right?
in terms of US dollars, I can imagine this being 20 to 30 or something like that. I don't imagine it being like an omnibus or anything like that.
So it'd be like a trade paperback, basically. Like,
Yeah, I'm pretty sure these are all trades.
okay. Okay. But this is very exciting to see DC doing something good for once.
Yeah, and it's something that, you know what, I appreciate. And here's the thing, and Britt, if you're still in the chat, you where's the Overwatch Avengers? Yeah, we already talked about that, but yeah, it's not looking good. But anyway, it's nice, and Britt, you can tell me this. At least they represented Wonder Woman somewhere.
Imagine if they established Super Wonder in this.
No, they're not going to do that. This is not another continuity. They're just reprinting
man.
books. I wish it
Oh,
were.
man.
I mean, DC is making supposedly making a Ultimate Universe, which that's what the new. Oh, thank you, Quentin. I really appreciate that. There's more coming. There's more coming. It's like I just like seeing Wonder Woman get anything because she gets nothing. That's the Teladia. I don't know if I told you this, but did you know that the DC Twitter account and the official Wonder Woman Instagram account on Twitter didn't even wish Wonder Woman a happy birthday?
Yes, you did tell me that. Yes.
And I'm like, at least the Wonder Woman account should have. And I'm like, who's running these accounts?
Probably bots. Knowing Warner Brothers.
Knowing WB? Oh yeah, definitely bots.
Right? But it's like you said, Wonder Woman doesn't get enough love that she should get. Same with Superman. Superman doesn't get enough love as he should be getting, right? Like,
well,
at least
that's because DC does not respect Superman. Britt says, thing is, what's being a reprint for Wonder Woman isn't exactly fan favorite. I enjoyed the Gail Simone Wonder Woman run, so there is that. But I get what you're saying. It would have been nicer if they like reprinted stories from like the Perez run or something like that. That could have worked. Wonder Woman gets nothing, she loses. Goddamn. Yeah, exactly. Which stories? She means the stories like the Gail Simone and like Terry Dodson stories. Batman gets way too much stuff. Yeah, well,
too much.
Part of it is because Batman is the highest seller character in IP world of DC, so it makes sense that they would go with in that direction. But the problem is publishing more of something that sells is one thing. Ignoring the other stuff is another. Ignoring the other characters is a real big issue. So
across the board, right? Here's what I say, right? Across the board, Warner Brothers and DC haven't put enough love into Superman, into Wonder Woman, into Green Lantern, into the Flash. There hasn't been enough love for these characters where in the comics, in the video games, in the movies, in the animation, it's like, what are you, Warner Brothers? What are you guys doing? You could make a lot of money just based on like Superman or Wonder Woman. Like, obviously you got the Wonder Woman game, right? That's a good start. Now push on that.
Here we go. No, Teladia, I guarantee you, when they start canceling content, that's gonna be the first one that's gonna get the axe. The fact that we don't know anything is really concerning. Like, let me put it this way: we knew what Suicide Squad was going to be for the most part in terms of game, like almost instantly when it came out.
But remember, I did know about the leaked concept art.
Yes, I mean, concept art is one thing, but when I don't know what's the game gonna look like, what's this gonna there's too little information out. Let me put it this way: didn't we like get a Gotham? Didn't we know what Gotham Knights was going to be the year before it came out?
Yeah, actually, about a month before the game actually was announced.
Yeah,
the game was leaked extensively.
Yeah, it's like by this point we knew what Gotham Knights was gonna be. Now, whether or not you like those games, I did. But my point is, it's very concerning that we know next to nothing besides like the Nemesis system, besides like the concept art and all that stuff. I'm like, I don't even know what the customization is going to be like.
It's like Warner Brothers are shafting these characters and not exactly giving them the love they need. they need to have love. There needs to be attention to detail for these characters across the board. I'm not saying not only video games. I'm talking across the board on everything. Because if you're not doing this stuff, like where's the Wonder Woman movie? She hasn't had one since 2020. Was it 2020?
2020, and we like to pretend that 1984 doesn't
Doesn't
exist.
exist. Yeah, but she hasn't had a
Mhm.
movie since then. And it's like, when is the last time we got a solo? Well, besides Batman, because we know we're getting the Batman too. When is the last time we got a solo Superman film, right? Which was 2013. Now we're getting one.
James Gunn better not screw the pooch, because if he does, then we'll actually be able to say the last time we had a good Superman movie was 2013.
2013, exactly. And here's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking Warner Brothers right now is selling up. I'm calling it now. I think Warner Brothers, that's why they're shifting everything. Because they know that's why they said, oh, we're gonna make this live service, because they know they're gonna selling up everything.
Yeah, I think they're
Uh,
gonna sell, and then you're gonna see like a lot of stuff get canceled. That's why
it's in that,
the thing is gonna happen.
as in the quotation of Thanos, I am inevitable.
Yes, exactly. Gunn said he has big plans for her, and she's supposed to appear before 2027. Gunn says a lot of things, Britt, and then he later changes his mind. So it's just because he says something does not mean it's going to happen.
Doesn't mean guaranteed. Yeah.
Remember, he said that all the games were going to tie in.
How is that going to work? Because
No, he walked back on. He changed his mind on that really quick. He's like, I never said that. I'm like, yeah, you did on the Inside of You podcast, as a matter of fact.
No, not only that. On the DC page itself, you said your video games are tied.
Yeah, you said that, and I'm like, we were all like, well, that's stupid. But anyway, they can't screw this Wonder Woman game. Yeah, they can, Tavia. They definitely can. This is DC, and they're known for screwing over Wonder Woman. 2017, Wonder Woman had a movie in 2017. Yes, thank you, Dave. That is correct.
A movie.
Wonder Woman animated show, but no wokeness. Do not involve Bruce Timm, because if it's involved with Bruce Timm, she'll be too aggressive and not Diana.
You know what I would like to see? It's My Adventure with Superman meets Wonder Woman, and then they have a connection, the bond, and that would screw over Lois Lane fans.
Yeah, so it's not like the League of Loser Lames.
Yeah, then Lois Lane will have to say, "Oh my God, oh no, it's Lois."
That episode was my personal hell.
Hey, yes, it was his best.
DC needs to get into anime. They are, and I'm interested in that. They can do a Wonder Woman anime. That would be dope.
They're actually doing a 10-year plan or something like that, apparently, for anime.
Yeah. Well, right. I think it's a lot of throwing stuff at the wall. That's what Gunn specializes in. But that's why what I think. Here's what's going to happen.
Yeah.
In the event of a sale, here's where I could see this happen. And by the way, let's transition to our Q&A topic. So basically, and at this point in the show, you guys can ask us whatever questions you want, and we'll answer them. But anyway, so here's the way I could see this happening, Teladia. It sells. Yes. Then we'll start seeing a bunch of the DCU projects canceled, like one after the other, like Booster Gold, Swamp Thing, this stuff. And then I guarantee you, then we'll start hearing, oh, it's not going to be a shared universe. It's going to be individual movies. I think one after the other, you're going to see that this stuff get picked apart. And the other thing I think you're going to see is after the Universal buys Warner Brothers, you're going to see James Gunn shut up on social media and stop talking to people, because he's only screwing over the universe.
I wonder though, Jared, here's what I wanted to ask you. Do you think he's going to do a New 52 match with post-crisis Superman in terms of suit design?
I know
I want to ask you that question. I know it's a heavy-hearted question, but
yeah, but see, I want to say yes, that's gonna be a mashup. The thing is, well, here's the thing. I want to say yes, because here's why. A lot of the material he's referenced as inspiration is like a mix of post-crisis and New 52 stuff.
Right.
So it's not all of what I could see it being is the new 52 suit, but with a red coloration. So it's like he has the trunks, but it's not really the trunks.
So like something like Fortnite. Are you trying to say something like the Fortnite suit that
Yeah,
he has?
something like that. Exactly.
I know he debunked that on Threads. Somebody mentioned
He
that on
debunks
Threads.
everything. But anyway, so Dave says half of the DCU movies and shows aren't going to happen, probably even less. I'm still convinced it's not going to last past Superman. Because again, and we saw this happening literally when Warner Brothers was bought by Discovery. Unless Universal likes James Gunn's plan, because that could happen. Again, the sale does not necessarily mean James Gunn goes away, but because they could like his plan. If they don't like his plan, he will be gone. And before you tell me they wouldn't do that, we literally saw it happen when Discovery bought WB.
Mm-hmm.
We even covered it on the show when the Holy Trinity of BS left.
You mean the Cloud Table?
Mm-hmm. The suit is supposedly Fortnite with the Kingdom Come logo. Again, and I like how Warner Brothers is like, why are you using the Kingdom Come logo? That's not that recognized. Here's the problem with Gunn. He's approaching it too much like a comic book fan and not as a business person, because guess what? You're going to need to make it marketable to the general audience. The general audience has not read Kingdom Come.
Here's the thing. I'm gonna put this out there. If James Gunn impressed me with this next Superman film, I'll eat I'll eat a hot dog or something, right? I'll eat a
No,
chocolate.
I'm saying he could impress us and it could be a good movie, but it doesn't mean they're going to go beyond it.
No, because people say, oh, you know what, Gunny Poo or whatever, they give him nicknames and whatnot. It's like I'm prepared to give him a chance. Like I'm putting on record. It's like give him a chance. Like I know you guys like to give him, all the nicknames in the world and whatnot. That I understand you guys are frustrated with the Snyderverse stuff. And I haven't moved on from the Snyderverse. Like I haven't moved on from the Snyderverse. I'm still passionate about selling it to Netflix because I think that's the real place where DC films, for Snyderverse films, I should say more specifically, should be. So Black Adam, Man of Steel, BVS, Ultimate Edition, the only edition that matters. Zack Snyder's Justice League. And then you can continue doing 2 and 3, and then that's it. Then you have that on Netflix, and then, call it a day, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, exactly. You could just do that. And the thing is, I'm still giving them a chance. It's just I'm moderating my expectations, because I see too many people that are like, oh, this is going to be the best Superman movie ever. And I'm like,
he has to blow
moderate
my
your
mind
expectations.
He has to blow my socks off by saying this is something new, something that I've never seen in comic book movies history before. It has to blow me blow my socks off. And before Socks comes in the chat and say, "Look, I'm here to take your socks," I haven't got socks on. I'm just saying that now, putting that out there.
You never know. You never know. Multiverses, Wonder Woman, Superman looking good, and that could be animated. Yeah, that I would love that. By the way, we will be playing Multiverses when it comes out. That'll be fun.
That'll be a stream for
Tevye has
sure.
a question. What would the Ta-Nehisi Coates' Superman movie also get canceled by GameStop?
Yes.
I would say so. Yeah. At that point, they
Yes.
would say, yeah, why has this been strung along for so long? We're done. And Tevye says, question, what happened to the Milestone animated movie? Is that movie still coming out at this point? I don't know, but I do know that like Gunn hasn't like shot it down or anything like that. So I would say for right now, assume it's coming out.
It's up in the air.
It's up in the air, but I would say assume it's coming out until advised otherwise, is what I would say. Quentin says, maybe Brainiac on the big screen. Here's the thing.
They're not a big gambler. That's the thing, Quentin.
The other thing, Teladia, is that since Suicide Squad didn't do as well as they hoped, I think they're going to stay away from Brainiac for a while.
Yeah, I think they're gonna put him on the back burner. I mean, it would have made sense if they did the Man of Steel 2 film with Henry Cavill and Brainiac. That would have sold.
Yeah, you can introduce Supergirl, but They chose not to, and Warner Brothers Infinite wisdom. Is it wisdom? Probably not. And it got really warm in here, so.
Are you not entertained?
No.
You guys are no fun.
I gotcha. How you doing, JJheat?
Yeah, I'm doing all right. How's everybody doing tonight?
Good. Let me ask you this since you're here. What do you think of Marvel's Fortnite? I mean, Marvel's Overwatch.
Okay, first of all, the looter shooter trend is about 5 years too late. The only things even remotely keeping afloat is Apex, and Overwatch is kind of on the way out as it is. Now, if I were argue optics, we'd be here all night. But all I'm going to say is there's a reason Suicide Squad killed the Justice League flop. That is all I'm going to say.
Well, yeah, but all I'm saying here is because Marvel's big idea for a console game, it's literally Overwatch. Music, art style, concept, literally Overwatch. They only did it's third-person Overwatch is what it is.
Pretty much. And I saw the trailer. It does look cool. Don't get me wrong. I just feel like it's
fun.
It's a flaw. I just don't think this is going to sell gangbusters, or at least sell as well as it would have done 5 years ago.
The other thing is like, and Tavia asked this earlier in the stream, would this have a story mode too? I'm not sure because a lot, I mean, maybe, but the issue is that a lot of these game companies are going away from single player stories, particularly for hero shooters. Because remember, Overwatch 2 was supposed to get a story mode, but they canceled it. And that's just the issues of being a game developer. So Quentin says, not a single Superman villain has shown up on the big screen other than Luthor, Zod, and Doomsday. Yeah, I know, and there's so many great ones.
What's up, Dave?
Yeah, Dave says hello. Question, which bothers Tevia said, here's what bothers me. Why couldn't we get a Batman Beyond animated movie instead of the Jurassic League? That's what I want to know. And I'm like, you had a Batman Beyond movie that people wanted, and then you all of a sudden say, our first animated project is Jurassic League.
Okay, see, this is just my personal opinion, so take this with a grain of salt. Warner Brothers and the higher-ups are in a very desperate financial position right now. Even if you did factor nostalgia and member berries, that's only going to get you so far. Because the moment you break that, and this could arguably happen with XMen 97. I'm not being a negative downer. I'm just saying it could happen. But the moment it doesn't meet expectation, the moment that illusion is distorted in any way, there's going to be a relative decline.
Mm-hmm.
Now, that could be for better or it could be for worse. It just depends on the person. And as much as, even though a Batman Beyond revival would be ideal, but Jurassic Park is just typical in demographic kid fun, a good 90 minutes, basically super pets. It's a safer option from an investment and business standpoint.
But you also have to factor in it's being made by the same people who did Spider-Verse. I
agree. It could have. It kind of reminds me of a reverse Spider-Man. It's kind of ironic, really, because we were supposed to get a Miguel O'Mara Spider-Man 99, but because of the original Batman Beyond cartoon, that project was abandoned because DC beat them to it. Mm-hmm. So I kind of see it as a role reversal of that.
Yeah. Gotta love how the villain in Gun Superman movie isn't even a Superman villain. Yeah, I know. It's the Authority. But anyway, Quentin says, where's Batman Azteca? Oh, you mean the Elseworlds book? Where, again, DC demonstrates that they can only make Batman books, apparently.
Because Batman's the only character or IP you really have to put any real effort in. Now, granted, there are those that are iconic, but when in the past 25 years have you gotten a significant push other than Batman, Superman, and maybe Green Lantern?
Jeff Johns' Green Lantern run?
I'm talking strictly in terms of media adaptations. Outside of the majority of the heroes have either gotten pushes either as part of the Justice League in ensembles or in standalones where they were self-contained and did not push the margin by a whole lot long term.
Okay, that's a good point.
Most of these heroes aren't ensemble. They have their own settings and character dynamics. They can hold their own.
DC tries to make them an ensemble by giving everyone a freaking family.
Except Green Lantern, ironically enough. Well, they have an entire core.
Technically, he has a core. By the way, in the comics, they finally explained why there's so many human Green Lanterns.
Let me guess, something involving a plot MacGuffin called a Crux World or something.
No, they didn't go in that direction.
I'm
You
not
want me
going
to
to make
spoil
that
it.
Go ahead.
Teladia, do you want me to spoil it?
Go ahead.
The idea is that there's a central power battery on Earth. So they call it a core, technically.
So they just ripped off Blackest Night.
It's to protect that central Green Lantern power battery.
Sounds like Gunn is basically doing what's so funny about Truth, Justice, American
Yeah.
Right. Okay, Dave, I will give you that. That is very risky for a first Superman film. Does it have a strong message? Yes. Is it not a typical direct origin story? True. But that is a very nuanced story in a very, let's say, conflicted time period here in the US, for lack of a better term.
Well, the other thing is like you're going to alienate more fans because if that is the plot of the movie, that whole thing is about Superman saying heroes shouldn't kill. The problem with that is that we just had the Snyderverse where they didn't get a chance. See it, Teladia.
All right, see ya.
But what I mean is that they had the Snyderverse where characters were killing at first and didn't get the chance to become their actual villains. So it's going to be perceived as Gunn taking shots at the previous regime.
And what's so funny about the True Justice American Way is arguably more of a commentary on the anti-hero trend of the 90s rather than just the whole no killing moral debate in comics. That is a direct commentary of that story. I mean, you had Jeff Johns with Infinite Crisis argue the same notion. Alan Moore's argued it multiple times in the superhero genre in of itself. But even if we factored all that, would I have made What's So Funny About Truth, Justice, the American Way or Superman versus the Elite my source material for the first Superman film, and the new status quo? No, I probably would have saved that for a sequel or a spin-off project after a main trilogy of films, because that is such a condensed story with a very strict theme. The message could easily be lost if you're focused on other things like cameos or Easter eggs or post-credit scenes. That is a story in of itself. I'm not saying it should be an Elseworld. I'm just saying it should be contained within itself rather than trying to build up other projects.
Or you know what? That can be maybe a Superman 2.
I just wouldn't have made that my first film. I would not have made that my first film.
Not as the first Superman film at all. No. So Tevia says, what's so funny about True Justice American Way is also more about authority killing people, but it's more of Superman commenting on superheroes killing. But yeah, I see what you're saying, Tevia. Randy says, if DC put this much effort into other characters as they do with Batman, they'd be unstoppable. Because again, I've said this many times, compared to Marvel, DC has the better characters. They just don't utilize them properly. Because let me tell you, this is what Marvel does well. So they saw that like people want MJ and Spider-Man together. Part of the selling point of the Ultimate Universe now is Peter and MJ are married and have kids. You have that. Marvel made a universe for the fans. DC can't be bothered to do that. That's what they should have done with that's what they should have done in Rebirth. Instead of like erasing everything, just shunt it over to another Earth and just say, you know what? Actually, they did that in Doomsday Clock. Earth 52, and make that your Ultimate Universe. You had the setup there.
But they ultimately didn't follow through because Jeff John was buried in delays, editorial was impatient, and Dan DiDio thought he could do all new, all different better. So there were a lot of factors that went into 5G. We'd be here all night.
Yeah.
But
Atchison says, I wish we'd stop with these whole heroes killing is not a hero thing. There's a difference between murder and killing out of necessity. Yeah, exactly. That is 100% true. And Pete has made that point on his channel.
It's a marketing thing. And besides, Batman was very pulp or noir inspired in the Golden Age and arguably to this day. And even then, if he does toe the line, he would only break it on the most severe circumstances or in an Elseworld story. It's just not something he would realistically do.
Yeah.
Plus, pulp characters used to be heroes before Spandex characters showed. And he's just repeating what I'm saying. Okay.
Tevia says, question: why is it so hard for DC to give us a Green Lantern animated movie and Flash? Because here's why. Yeah, you're right. Those characters are good and deserve a shot. But here's the problem: those characters aren't at the point when they can sell an animated movie well. Let me put it this way. Until the Flash is not going to happen because the Flash movie bombed. Green
That is true.
Lantern, until we get good movies of these characters, we're not getting animated movies. DC is not going to want to invest
Take that
in
risk.
them.
And Tevia, to make your counterpoint, First Flight was an anthology, was a one-off and a direct adaptation of a series of anthology books. And even then, that was a direct DVD release.
Mm-hmm. Dave says maybe the Ultimate DC Universe were basically a continuation of the New 52 since most all. Yeah, exactly. That would be cool. That's what would be the smart way to go, because you literally have the universe all set up. Granted, you can tweak some things like put someone that actually gets Teen Titans on the book, but you just restore that continuity. You can even say Journey into Earth 52 or something like that. And then that's your Ultimate Universe. You just go with that. You're done. You're good. That's what you could have done.
But I don't want. I kind of don't want the Ultimate Universe to just be a New 52 2.0, because one, we've already did that with New Direction Verse, which is very successful.
I do, because that would sell.
Arguably. And I guess there were some good elements I could bring to a table. And in an Elseworld setting, people would tolerate it a lot more. But at the end of the day, the New 52 still has a notorious and stigma around it towards the marketing and inevitable implosion during that 5-year gap, both by fans and critics. That's
why what you do is you start the universe before all that BS started. Before before what were those? Before DCU, before Convergence, before Future's End. Just start there and just move on. Wipe those 3 events from DC's from the New 52 timeline, and then you guess what? You have a better timeline.
Fair enough.
That's what you need to do, which is sad because the Flash with Wally West, my favorite. Yeah, that's he does get a chance. Don't we also have Earth 1 books? Yeah, but the problem with those, Tevia, is that those literally cannot be in one continuity, because in Wonder Woman, women take over the Earth, and that's never referenced in any of the other books.
Ironically enough, Earth 1 kind of snowballed into an anthology book, not gonna lie.
Mm-hmm. They started trying to market it as like a universe, but when you actually dig into the weeds of it, there's no way these books take place at the same time. Like, no way. They could structure it like Earth 1, but the problem is, if they make it an Ultimate Universe, the graphic novels have to come out more than like once every like 5 months. Because that was the other issue with Earth 1, is that, yeah, they were coming out and they were good. Ignoring the continuity, they just came out extremely irregular. You thought Doomsday Clock was delayed. Rebirth should have just been its own thing, and the New 52 should have been an actual conclusion. Yeah, exactly. That's the thing. And that's why, and you notice, that's when DC sales really started to tank, and they haven't recovered since then. So there you go.
Now I do respect Jared and our multiple collabs together, and the New Direction Verse especially. Be sure to check that out if you want more detail. But cheap plug aside, I don't think we took the formula, and I think we expanded it in a way to where the New 52 fans did have a relative conclusion based on what we've done, at least. Would you say, Jared?
Yeah. In other words, well, here's the other thing that we did. We didn't take away anything from fans. We just said these exist together because guess what? They could have. That's the part that really annoys me. The way that DC had it set up, they could have had them at like 2 Supermen in the universe. They could have done that. But no, they decided, nah, you know what? Let's just screw over this fan base that we had cultivated for so long.
Nostalgia bias won out all across the board, and they just wanted the pre-Flashpoint or post-Crisis stuff back, or at least a recreation of it. Which, to be fair, I was not the biggest fan of the New 52. I was an angsty teenager. I was not the biggest fan of the New 52. I will openly admit that. But even with that, you still had a blank slate. You had new material to boost sales. And you had arguably a companion piece in Superman Wonder Woman, which was arguably one of the highest grossing comics in recent years. There were feats there. There were just poor execution, no communication between creative teams, and a marketing disaster behind the scenes that pretty much imploded within the span of 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a lot of behind the scenes baggage that if you restructured some things or altered the stories differently, could have been avoided. Now, Convergence, that was just a delay tactic where they were shifting studios. There was no avoiding Convergence, for better or for worse. But everything after that, DCYOU, I'm looking at you. That you could have scrapped in its entirety and just made a bunch of anthology books. Because we did not need 6 months of that.
That's what Black Label should have been launched, because you could have just done all that stuff with Black Label. Because that's what that was. Story over continuity. And I'm like, that is completely dumb. Also, there were no plans there were plans, Tevia, at first. There were plans at first. It's just they abandoned those plans halfway through. And then, yeah, that's why I said if they were to bring it back, put someone competent on Teen Titans. And don't give them the stupid Tron suits. But I don't know. It's very weird the way things are set up, but I guess we'll call it a night. So hope you guys enjoyed the show. JJheat, thanks for coming on. And so tell everyone what you got coming on your channel and where can one find you.
Okay, you can find me at JJheat75 on Twitter or X. You can also find me at JJheat Plays. We are almost at 215 subscribers. And also, I've decided to move my Mass Effect playthroughs to premiere Saturday at 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. That way there's a bit more coherent because I noticed my audience is a little older and there could be time constraints when I post. So you'll have Mass Effect Saturday, New Direction Verse Sunday if I can get a video out in time, because I am planning those standalone New Direction Verse videos, and I'll collab with Jared with the character focus or bigger event videos, if that makes sense. Yeah,
more on that later. And by the way, Dave says the New 52 should have been the Ultimate Universe in the first place, wiping out the post-crisis. Yeah, exactly. That's what really was
that pissed off a lot of people.
Yeah, I'll give them that, because that's what Marvel did when they did the Ultimate Universe originally. They didn't wipe out the old continuity. They just said, this right here, you have your other books, you have your convoluted as hell universe. So for us, for Comics League, Britt and I are going to be releasing Super Wonder Legacy on Monday. And that episode is going to be how would Superman and Wonder Woman factor into each other's families if the book moved on with that, and if they actually got married and such. How would Superman relate to like the Amazons and the gods? How would Wonder Woman relate to like Connor and Kara? And in terms of commentary, I'm still thinking about what I want to talk about on that. In terms of movie night, we're going to be talking about the JLA movie, the really, really bad TV pilot. So be sure to watch that. It's free on Daily Motion. Hint, hint, JJheat, if you're going to come on the show. But in terms of Under Two Capes next week, I believe we are going to be, we're going to do a thought experiment. If we were in charge of Suicide Squad from the very beginning, how would we make Suicide Squad kill the Justice League, but make it respectful? So we're going to do that. And be on the lookout for our fun April 1st stream on Monday. So we'll see what happens with that. So anyway, everyone, stay heroic.
One last thing.
Yeah, go ahead.
Now, this one will not be a collab between me and Jared. This next New Direction versus Elseworld will be standalone. But what if Scion was in the DCAMU? So coming soon. So be sure to check that out.
All right. Well, stay heroic, everyone. I'll see you guys later. Remember, Lois Lane is Lois Lane, and she belongs to General Zod. Zo's for life.